Hello there! Please pay no attention to the fact that Nolan's a Lalafell right now. I changed him for Halloween and I really needed to record this video and I didn't want to spend the money to change him back, so he's gonna be a Lalafell for this video, okay? Just to pretend that he's just a tiny elf, it's fine. Are you new to Final Fantasy XIV, the critically acclaimed MMORPG? Did you just start playing in the last few weeks or maybe a few months after Shadowbringers launched? Have you never experienced an expansion release before and aren't sure what to do or what to expect because there's so much to do and everything is so overwhelming and there's so little time? Well, hopefully I've got you covered. Between both Final Fantasy XIV and World of Warcraft, I've gone through a plethora of expansion launches, so I have a little bit of experience in surviving the chaos that usually comes bundled with expansion launches. And since we're nearing Final Fantasy XIV's next big expansion, I wanted to take some time to share some tips and tricks I've learned over the years to hopefully help you have an easier time when Endwalker comes out. So, let's get started! Number 1. What is Early Access? Early Access is a pre-order incentive. It lets you play the new expansion and have access to all of its content a few days before the official release. Basically, you get to play 4 days earlier than you would if you waited to buy it. So, how do you get into Early Access then? Well, if you've pre-ordered the new expansion, you'll receive a weird-looking code sort of thing. You enter that code over on the Mog Station, and you're set for Early Access. That's it! Plus you get some really cool in-game bonus items too, like this really cool, awesome earring thing. Seriously, it's awesome. If you want to level things like super fast, you should get this earring. It's really nice. It's also important to know that you will have to pre-order your copy of Endwalker for the platform that you currently play on. Like, so for example, if you play on Steam, you have to order the game through Steam itself, and no other versions of the game will work for you. Since there are a lot of ways to pre-order in different versions of the game, I've provided a link in the description below to an Endwalker pre-ordering guide that thoroughly explains how to pre-order for your console of choice, the options available, and more. So please go check it out. It's really detailed, and the OP did an incredible job on it. Number 2. How to prepare for Endwalker. So you've pre-ordered. Now what? Well, Endwalker's Early Access doesn't begin until December 3rd, with the official release being on December 7th. So there isn't much to do in the way of new content. There are no upcoming patches, no new MSQ or raids to prepare for. It's just the game in its entirety with some small quality of life updates on occasion. So what do you do in the meantime? Well, what most players like to do during content droughts is set a laundry list of goals they'd like to complete. This could be like completing the MSQ or doing New Game Plus, leveling all the jobs to cap, collecting mounts or minions, whatever they finally feel like finishing before their attention is whisked away to a new shiny thing. So do what you think sounds the most fun. Maybe try out that Savage mode you've always wanted to do, or collect the trial mounts, or give an Ultimate a try. I know I've just up and decided to collect Triple Triad cards for some reason. I don't know, it's just weirdly relaxing and fun to play Triple Triad every night. Once we start getting a little bit closer to Early Access, some of the folks in the community may start hosting in-game parties and get-togethers and farewell parades to celebrate the ending of Shadowbringers, all of which can be a lot of fun to take part in. Back before Stormblood released, Naoki Yoshida, the producer and director of 14, once told the player base that a new expansion is a reason to celebrate. So, if servers in your data center are having a celebration, join in the shenanigans and help the community send off Shadowbringers with a smile. It's really a lot of fun. Like, I've been on the parades before. It's weirdly fun. I also want to point out that there's usually a scheduled 24-hour maintenance window the day before Early Access. This means all servers will be going down on December 1st sometime in the evening hours for North America, and will be unavailable on December 2nd for the entire day. So it's probably best not to plan any in-game events or raids for that day, and finish all your last-minute preparations before December 1st. And during your last-minute preparations, I recommend 3 very important things you do before the servers take a day-long nap. The first thing is to clean out your inventory, armory, and retainers. New zones mean new quests, and new quests means new gear and randomly obtained items dropped from monsters. I mean, if you don't have the bag space right now, you're definitely not going to have the bag space into Endwalker, so don't be caught with full bags. The second thing is to turn off shout and yell. Sometimes people want to avoid all things spoiler related, no matter how mild or vague the spoiler might be. So just to be safe, make sure you turn off shout and yell chats so you don't see any conversations or vague reactions taking place in those global chats. Do Not Disturb is also a really nice option for those who may fear the whisper spoilers. And the third thing is a little strange, but turn off player titles. A fun fact, a major spoiler for the end of patch 3.5 in Heavensward got through as a title and spoiled a bunch of people who had seen it. It's been changed and something like that hasn't happened since, but just in case, it's probably best to hide player titles until you're max level. Number 3. What do I do on December 2nd? Well, you could always play one of your other favorite games in the meantime or something, I don't know. We just usually lay on the floor until Final Fantasy XIV comes back home. Besides that, I do recommend a few things you can do to help your playtime in Endwalker be a little less stressful. First, if you're a regular on social media, you're going to want to utilize that blacklist feature for spoilers. People are going to want to yell on their social media rooftops about the new spoilers that just came out, and it's their right to do so, it's their little corner of the internet. But to protect yourself from those spoilers, be sure to blacklist certain words appropriately, and if you have to, temporarily avoid the folks that don't tag their spoilers. You can always refollow after you've caught up. I also recommend taking care of some real-life stuff too, if you can. I personally like to stock up on some snacks and meals like frozen pizzas and stuff like that. So just do whatever you believe will help make sure that your time in Endwalker isn't, like, disturbed when early access starts. December 3rd arrives, and early access begins. So what can you expect on your first big day of a brand new expansion? Well, I just want to make a little comment here. If you're a big emotional mess like I am when it comes to stories and character development, you're gonna want to stock up on a lot of tissues and have plenty of water nearby to drink, because we are at the finale, and who knows what kind of gut punches they're gonna be pulling on us, and we're probably gonna cry a lot. Besides that, cues. Expect lots and lots and lots of cues. We have seen a massive boom in new players these last few months, and we are likely to see a massive boom in returning players as well. So between all of the sprouts, returners, and regulars, it's probably safe to assume there's gonna be a lot of queues. Like queues to get into the game, queues to get into leveling dungeons, especially if you're playing a Sage or a Reaper, queues to go to the bathroom, and probably even queues to enter solo duties. Like, back when Stormblood first launched, there was this quest out in the Fringes where you had to go meet up with Raoban, and when you went to go meet up with Raoban, you would enter this cutscene, and this cutscene would play where this guy would go on about his birthday.
It's like all my name days have come at once!
And when the cutscene finished, you would think you would go into the fight itself in the solo duty, but instead you get spat back out in the Fringes because everybody's clicking on Raoban to try and do the solo duty, which is blocking you from progressing the MSQ. So then you click on Raoban again, thinking, oh, it's just probably a bug, and then you get into the cutscene and you watch the guy go on about his birthday again, and then you get spat back out. So then everybody decided that, hey, maybe it's a good idea if we form a line, because that way, one at a time, we will be clicking on Raoban as opposed to everybody is clicking on Raoban. So we all formed a line in the Fringes, and then it got really, really long, and then we just kept trying and hoping that we would get through the MSQ, and no matter the data center you play on, or the server, Endwalker is probably gonna be pretty packed. The best thing to do in this scenario is to just have patience. Make sure you have something to do while you're waiting, like drawing or writing or getting caught up on that show you've been neglecting, or even play another game in the meantime. Just take it nice and chill. The queues will pass and things will settle with time. They always do. Also, expect the inevitable DDoS. If servers start lagging and crashing out of nowhere and forcing you to log out only to wait in a queue of 1,000+ players after you've already waited in a queue to log in, the only thing that any one of us can do is to simply be patient. The dev team will be working around the clock to get the servers up and stabilized. It will just take them a tiny bit of time to do so. Another tip I recommend is to have alternate plans if your main plans go a little poorly. Early access and launch week for any game is rough. Queues will be long, servers will be shaky, DDoSes will be happening, loads of players will be fighting over the same quest mobs, the worlds are gonna be super clogged. It's just going to be chaos.
Chaos.
So if you plan to do MSQ as your big main focus and it's just a chaos zone, make sure you have a fallback plan to do something else in-game while you wait for things to calm down, like leveling via fates or running some roulettes. I'm sure there's gonna be plenty of Sages and Reapers that want to go see that new Praetorium movie that just came out. I'm kidding, it's not new, it's been out for like 8 years now. It's also not uncommon to run into launch day bugs. Unfortunately, that's just how these things are. Like, back when Stormblood launched, there was a bug where players would sit down and queue for the pool of tribute, and their character would be stuck in the pool of tribute. They couldn't get out. So, you're probably gonna hit a quest or a dungeon that will probably be bugged to heck and back that the dev team didn't find during their initial testing, or you'll find a bug that only occurred when the servers went live. Bugs are sneaky little butts that will show up in the least expected of places, so just be sure to report them and know that the dev team will be on it as fast as they can. And please, please take AFK breaks. I know it's gonna be difficult because the queues are gonna be long or the story is gonna be super good, but your health is very, very important. Make sure you drink water and eat and sleep, or take care of your chores or your family or pets as needed. Do what you have to do to take care of yourself. Final Fantasy XIV will be there when you get back from your little break, I promise. And finally, my last tip is simply be kind. The rush to endgame can get pretty intense sometimes, especially with all the multitudes of problems that come with a expansion launch. And during all of that chaos, just remember to be kind and patient to your fellow warriors of light. We're all pushing towards the end story together, and we're all going to see this grand finale of the Hydaelyn and Zodiac story arc. And I mean, where's the harm in just helping each other reach that end goal? And that's it! Hopefully this will help you prepare for your first big expansion launch and make Endwalker a smooth, fun time. If you have any questions or need further clarification on some of the tips I provided, or if you just want to add tips of your own, feel free to leave a comment below. And since I still don't know how to close out a video, I'm just gonna say until next time, stay safe and healthy out there. Bye-bye!